Can't even focus. He's so concerned about Kate Middleton's surgery. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on the show. You're going to get it on. Excited for DFG today, and of course, Shaq in studio.
Yes.
Lots of breaking news. We're going to announce the fruit of the year.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. I know. I felt that 2023 didn't deserve the Shecky Awards. But you know what? I'm a man of the people. People have demanded a fruit of the year, and they're going to get it.
We'll get to that. Mine's the same every year. Clay Aiken. I've never changed.
Not that.
It's not 17 years running.
No. I'm talking
Johnny
about fresh
come
produce.
lately.
Fresh produce. You know, that's what I'm about.
Yo, he's a pro.
I think we're talking about.
All right. Well, we'll just wait and see the dude you pick.
Yeah, he's produced.
But I'll put Clay Aiken against your dude anytime now.
It's a dude that's going to send a powerhouse message to the entire world of fruit.
Oh boy, I was dreaming about you coming in here today, Shaq, with some food-related discussions.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think I may have had a pizza-related breakthrough at this age. I mean, this age,
jaw on the floor, and I don't even have the details yet.
Be prepared to be wowed.
Okay.
Because this could be big, and it could change the entire game. I'm a disruptor, but usually when I get drunk, I don't do it in the business community. I do it in social environments after I'm lit.
This is just so you know, Ace. You're a showman. That's for sure.
Right,
this is a gigantic buildup.
This is big build.
You sound like Geraldo outside of that wall 30, 40 years ago.
Let me just...
Timely reference from Dameshek.
Yeah, with Al Capone's fault.
With the Capone fault, yeah.
All right. Let me just walk you into this idea, because if I throw you into it, you'll get the bends. You'll grab your side and you'll go down on the ground because it's too much idea.
All right. I'm settled in.
You settle it in.
I have a good, cozy posture.
All right.
Won't get the vapors.
I was over the holiday. I spent some time in New York. I thought nothing better than walking in New York, and nothing better than walking and getting a slice.
That, by the way, look, I hate to derail you, but that looked great. You with the kids there. That looked super fun.
We had a great time.
Yeah.
Good dad.
Yeah.
So go down to Joe's or John's. I always get confused, in the Village, and get the slice. And listen, everybody, with your... The thing about pizza, it's either got to be New York thin crust or it needs to be thick crust, Geno's Chicago. The in-between crust is neither fish nor fowl. It's just chewy, doughy, in between. That's what all the shitty pizza makers.
What the hell are you even talking? Who are you talking about?
I'm telling everybody. Stop.
Give me an example of the in between. I don't know what you're talking about. When you say the in between.
The Domino's and the Pizza Huts and all that stuff.
Like
it's like it's like a.
Like a pan pizza, like those.
Oh boy! See, this is why these conversations take.
They can't go anywhere when you let Donovan involve himself.
Thick crust pan pizza is fine. Yeah, that's pan pizza.
That
right?
is pan pizza, like a deep dish.
All right, and then thin crust New York is fine. It's just the Domino's, Pizza Hut, Papa John's version of a pizza. The crust is like half an inch thick.
Okay.
And it's in between the thick and the thin, and it's nowhere. Mm-hmm. It's nowhere, man. So listen, you're up on the beach with me with the thin slice, the thin crust on the beach, or you're beyond the breakers with the thick crust. You stay in the middle with the medium crust, you get pummeled by the surf.
Right.
You get run into the ground by the surf. Okay. So thin is the best. But if you want thick crust and you want to go Chicago style, no harm, no foul. All right, that's number one. Now, I tell everyone, if it's one of those situations where people go, oh, none of the good places are open, or it's too late, or we're working late, we got to order, we got to go to Domino's, or we got to go to... I go, just get thin crust. Order a thin crust Domino's, it's fine, because there's just not as much for them to fuck up. The sauce, the cheese, the toppings is all sort of one for the other, but it's the crust where they go south. So when you order the thin crust, it's fine. Domino's thin crust, fine. All right, so now I'm at Geno's, and the key to a good pizza is the pizza can't support its own weight. The end falls down like a dog's tongue.
That's desirable, is what
That's
you're saying.
desirable.
Yes, right.
It's so thin that it can't hold up the cheese at the end and dips down. The waterfall
So you gotta
effect.
fold it.
You got to fold it.
Right.
Okay. But then I realized after consuming all the delectable pizza, I get to the end and I have an 8-inch piece of dry crust. I like the crust, but now there's no cheese, there's no sauce, there's nothing, and now it just feels like a worn out old breadstick, you know? Now, I'm not really disciplined enough to take a bite of the pizza and then circle over to the crust and take a little nibble of the crust, which is really how you should do it.
You should, but then you're setting yourself up for messy hands. Like you're getting fingers
this is where
in
the genius
sauce
comes in.
and all
Here's
that.
where the genius.
Okay.
We take the crust, we run it down the middle. Like a spine. A spine, a
Wait
pizza
a minute.
spine. We take the crust, we run it long ways, you taco the pizza around it and eat it that way. And when you're done, you're done. There's not that crust rattling around. We've all done the thing where you wake up hungover the next day, you open the pizza box and there's 4 crusts and you feel like a pariah, but you're like, fuck it, I'm eating this anyway, even though it's dry and it's bad. I want a pizza crust down the middle, a pizza spine, and it'll be right up there with fruit in the middle yogurt. And that will be my legacy. Fruit in the middle yogurt, not at the bottom.
Right.
Fruit in the middle, and the spine of pizza. The pizza crust in the middle.
The factory hasn't flipped the switches yet to start actually making the fruit in the middle yet.
We're retooling.
Okay, I just didn't know. I didn't want.
We're not officially up.
Because you're already on to phase 2 of your master plan without the first floor being built.
Again,
Well, you built it middle
We're
of the
in
way.
R&D, but we haven't cut any ribbons yet.
The science says no.
The science. What, Dawson?
You can't. There's no way to do that logistically.
Why not?
How does
You
that
can
happen?
put cheese in the crust. We put a man on the moon.
Right.
We put cheese in the crust. But
right.
you're not saying that we could have a wonderful flour of pizza with a beautiful spine.
This son of a
crust?
bitch is in here to
That's all he does.
here to tell you no.
That's all he does. And
Can't happen. No, you're limited by your own imagination and what the man told you aren't allowed to do.
That's
This
right.
is the origin story. You
That's
know,
right.
I'm in the pocket of big pizza.
That's
on
right.
this.
Putting cottage cheese on it.
Yeah, long story.
Who's he to chime in?
I-
What do you think?
He-
Who in the
that's what
hell
he
is
does.
he? Who's
That's what he
Mike
does.
Dawson, the cottage cheese calzone maker, to
man.
weigh in on another pizza relay? Isn't it remarkable that
During
people
his
don't
team's-
learn a lesson?
During his team's bye week. Let's not forget that part.
Maybe next year Dak Prescott will win the Super Bowl.
right.
This is who Mike Dawson is. You know, keep going, you're just gonna stay the course.
All right.
Don't get it.
All right, so picture that spine
Crust in
going
the
right up
middle.
that piece.
I like it. It would help with the
and
fold.
then fold it, and eat it like a wonderful taco.
Yeah.
I like it.
The science says no.
I hate to
No,
play
it's
devil's
nice,
Dameshek, but when you fold it and eat it like a taco, aren't you describing a calzone?
Oh, well, not if it doesn't have
It's
cottage
not
cheese.
close. Yeah, and no cottage cheese. Look, we have a lot of listeners who make their own pizzas. Please make this pizza and tweet us.
How do you know? You know a large percentage of your audience
Yeah.
makes its own
There's
pizza.
definitely some
We're in the
people.
community.
and it's like a hot
It's a
thing.
community,
to have
Dave.
your
Weird
pizza.
demo.
Yeah.
It's but it's a big
Carolla
one.
owns the home pizza making demo.
Yeah,
Got locked up.
cornered it.
Listen.
yeah.
Go ahead, please.
I'll listen. I have another food related.
Please.
This is more of a conundrum.
That's what I'm here for.
This is a conundrum.
Okay.
And I've never thought about it till now, just like my pizza spine breakthrough.
Can't call it a spine though.
I didn't think we're gonna. Yeah, it sounds. I don't like invoking bones when I'm eating pizza.
Insider
Might be bony.
discussion. That's an insider. All right, we'll call it the dorsal fin.
Like the insider.
Well, the insiders have their own language for everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then they go to the homeowner and they put it in layman's terms, and that's what we would do with the pizza.
Okay. I think this is legitimately onto something. Indulge it if you want. It's your show. I am curious why Dawson has announced to the world impossible. Why would it not be possible?
He just does
Why
that.
couldn't you do it?
That's
Why
his-
wouldn't?
He's
Why wouldn't it work?
He anointed himself that roll. That's his roll. That's
As
all right.
someone whose first job was working at a pizzeria at 13 years old.
Me too. I worked at a pizzeria. Why can't?
How many years you got?
Why does it have to have the
I
crust
worked at
to it?
pizzerias for 15 years of my life. You can't do it. You can't put crust in the middle. There's logistically, the crust exists because it's on the outside of the pizza. The only way you're going to be able to cook it with a crust, you know how complicated, maybe it is doable, but you know how complicated it would be?
We'll get Elon Musk on it.
Everybody wants competent employees. I think it's remarkable and laudable that you employ the people you do.
I know. Thank God, Dawson. Thank God Dawson wasn't part of the Manhattan Project. We'd all be speaking Japanese about now, wouldn't we? Bowing, and you hear the big bong when you
I was
enter
thinking
the
about
room.
your character, the serious character. It's my favorite thing on
slippery slope guy?
I tell everybody Adam Carolla's overly serious person who addresses you, David, all of that stuff. That guy, I noticed a thing with him. He likes to talk about where he's from a lot. And it's interesting. No one ever invokes where they're from, and it's a gentrified, pleasant place. It's always hard, boy, where I come from.
Oh, I'm from Menominee, Wisconsin, so who are you talking to? By way of Phoenix. By way
The
of...
citing of where you're from all the time.
I know. And you left when you're 7.5. You know what I mean?
Well, it would hit maybe differently, yeah, if it was like, where I come from, most of the kids, went to college, nice 2-parent homes,
Modest.
That's where I come from.
Yeah,
It's always
where I
hard
come
boiled and rough.
I always, this guy's the guy I always think about too. It's the giver of dates. That person.
How so?
I buried my youngest son August 27th, 1981. They always do that. Like you're supposed to pull a calendar out and go, wait a minute, that was a Wednesday. Bullshit. You wouldn't have a funeral on a Wednesday. They just, they throw the date. When I get sober, December 22nd, 2007. They give the dates on when they buried people.
Yeah.
They give dates on when their dog died. They give dates on when they buried their wife. And they give dates about when they got sober.
And they want you to know that they experienced the full range of human emotion. Like, worst day of my life. Ask me what the best day of my life was.
Right. What was the best day of your life?
Same day.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I love those guys. All right. They're also the self-interviewers. Would I like a secure border? Sure. Do I want all Mexicans rounded up, put in cages, and thrown into Chavez Ravine? No.
They tricked
love the
themselves.
self-interviewer.
The self-interviewer who fools himself was a great character you added a number of years ago.
Well, you may, I don't know, Dawson or Byron Guy, but you may be thinking of Slippery Slope Guy.
Slippery Slope Guy is there. Yeah, he's very serious. Yeah.
Right, with here's where this is going. I don't know. Find a Slippery Slope
we should
guy.
have
It'll
some
just
here.
make me laugh. All right. Oh, we have it.
Okay, well, we could do that, but I can't wait to hear
got another-
fruit talking point
Fruit.
2.
This is
Or not food talking point.
Although it could be a fruit.
And now, an editorial from Slippery Slope Guy on medical marijuana.
Does marijuana have some medical value? Maybe. But it's a slippery slope. First, your doctor's prescribing pot for your mother's glaucoma. Then he's treating your kid's head lice with hashish. And the next thing you know, a gang of government-funded hippies has stormed your house and forced your infant to mainline a speedball, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it.
That's like Dawson talking about the impossibility of the spine pizza. There's not a damn thing you can do to make that happen. Not in nature. Not on this planet.
All right.
We made those where I came from.
Let's see. What other subjects are? Do we have weapons? I think there's. All right. One more.
I can
subject.
complain, Dave, if you have a food one. Go
I
ahead.
got a food one. All right. This is more of a human condition, but it has to do with the food. But I noticed it yesterday. I was driving home, and I had a sack of old peanuts that were months old. They're in the car, and I have to eat them because I bought them at the Burbank airport, and they're like $13. You know what I mean? So even though they're 9 months old, I can't throw them out because I paid $13. And I'm driving, but I'm reaching into this sack of peanuts that are on the passenger seat, and I'm pulling out peanuts, and I realize the whole intact peanut is an amazing experience when you pop it in your mouth, salted and roasted and everything. The halves are a little unsatisfying. Even if you took two halves separate, but together and throw them in your mouth and bite down, it is not nearly the experience of the whole peanut. And then I started playing games. I think I would give up like 4 halves for one whole, even if I was hungry, just because the experience of biting into the whole peanut is so goddamn satisfying, and the halves not satisfying at all.
The halves being the one nut inside the encasing is what you're going for, right? The halves.
Yours are shelled. Right?
Oh, you're not talking about with the shell.
Yeah.
You're talking
Whole.
about. I got you. Okay,
Yes.
de-shelled.
De-shelled.
But the little peanut when it breaks.
Yes.
I am with
The
you.
bag
Yes.
is full of 33%
Yeah.
are intact. The other 66% are halves.
Right.
They've been broken up, and it's just not sasatisfying.
No, you could try
Whole.
to mix 2 different halves, but you're just playing God at that point.
Yeah, we got a mixed marriage.
I've spoken out, and coincidentally or not, the mixed nuts. They still can, but they now call them fancy nuts. Mm-hmm. The ones that don't include the sucker nut. I forget what it's called. The Brazil nut, the
Brazilian
big
nut,
one,
or the
consumes
filbert.
half to 2/3
Yeah.
of the package.
Too big.
Yeah.
You know,
Too big.
that's for suckers. It's just
Yeah.
a space filler. Nobody wants to eat that. Nobody eats those on purpose. The peanut, I do feel like as a society, we got pretentious and we moved on to the almond and the cashew and otherwise, and the peanut is right there. Peanut's right there. We just got used to it. That's all.
You can't go wrong with a peanut.
No, thank you. That's what the Dallas Cowboys just did with Mike McCarthy. That's what the Pittsburgh Steelers just did with Mike Tomlin. Is everything perfect? No. But is it going to be a consistent winner for you? That's what the peanut is.
That's what the peanut is.
Reliable.
I also argue, and I've always argued, that it's insane to think that like half of American kids are allergic to peanuts now, when peanut butter is the universal food for all of God's creatures. If you are trying to capture any creature, you smear peanut butter on
Yeah, that's
something.
right.
You want your dog to take a pill, peanut butter. You want to bait a rat trap, peanut butter. If you want to catch a possum that's been in the backyard, peanut butter is the universal bait food, because you could probably catch a marlin with peanut butter if the salt water didn't take it apart. It's the food that we've agreed that all of the creatures of the planet want to consume. But yet, half of American kids are now allergic
But the
to
human
this thing.
beings for whom it was created, half of them no longer can eat it.
Yeah, that's because we grew up, we raised them in bubble wrap and put Purell on them, and we ruined their fucking immune system.
How
so
about
they
that
can't
George
take it.
Washington Carver, though? We not celebrating him enough, or was it a fluke? Because he, as it says in the name, it's butter, but it's made from peanuts.
He didn't invent it.
What do you mean he didn't invent it?
Arthur Straub, white guy, made peanut butter so we can all rest easy tonight. It was Ambrose Schwab. Ambrose Schwab.
I have John Harvey Kellogg invented it.
He stole it from Ambrose.
Well, one way or the other, if it was intended to be a replacement for butter, imagine if you cooked in peanut butter. That would be its limitation. It would suck.
Ambrose Stroud, did he invent peanut butter? There's only one reason I know this, and now
I know why you know, but I remember looking it up and there's a weird asterisk next to even his name. Dr. Ambrose Straub. Okay, so it says early peanut butter making machines were developed by Joseph Lambert, who had worked at John Harvey Kellogg's Battle Creek Sanatorium, and Dr. Ambrose Straub, who obtained a patent for a peanut butter making machine.
Well, I would argue, look, anybody who eats whole peanuts makes peanut butter in their mouth.
Yeah. So they've been.
So we're all peanut.
Inventors in a way.
The
We've all
first
done it.
person who invented peanut butter was the first person that ate a peanut. That's when your mouth, you swallow
That's true.
peanut butter. In goes the peanut, down goes the butter.
True.
So really, the guy's been able to manufacture it, make the machine out of it, and bring it to the masses.
Hey, Matt,
that's the real hero.
spit that in my mouth, would you? I think I just invented
That's right. Yeah, there's a in the Bircham pilot that I did many years ago. There was a scene where we changed the name of the school. The name of the school was George Washington High School, but we had to add Carver onto it because that's the way of the world now. So it was the George Washington Carver School. Used to be home of the Comanches or something. We'd put like a Viking helmet on him to smooth it over with the school district. And then my character was angry that we changed the name of the school, and the guy didn't even do the peanut butter. He did axle grease.
I knew. Yeah, it was all coming together for me. How did Ace know about this? I do remember him talking about that. Now I know the story.
Yeah, there's a scene somewhere and toward the beginning.
What it shows is that just because you can do something, it's not necessarily an advancement for our society. And I'm sorry I have to bring this up because everybody enjoys the football playoffs, although it's not so much fun anymore now that we only have 3 games left. And my team isn't playing in any of them, and it makes me sad. But okay, football season is over, and it would have been even better, these playoffs, if they wouldn't. I mean, what is it, Ace, with these football teams? Do you understand? Home field means you get to play in your space, and then you get to bring some fancy pantsers from L.A. or Texas or Florida up to your home stadium. I cannot stand Detroit and Minnesota and all these other bum teams taking away that home field advantage so that their fans can be comfortable, can sit in climate controlled. What would have been worse? I wish the Rams would have beaten the Lions.
You don't
I wish
want domes.
to send a message to Detroit. Shame the devil. What did you do? You gave up your home field advantage.
By building a dome.
It's wrong, right? You're an estate, if nothing else.
I love them. I love playing the snow games.
Yes.
I mean, it's awesome. The greatest moment in sports is in the fourth quarter when the home team scores and the crowd erupts with the cannons of snowballs just going flying everywhere. Yeah.
I love seeing the breath coming out of the helmets.
Yeah, the best.
So dramatic.
Oh, I think we found that Ambrose Straub part.
This show, by the way, your old pal Kevin Hench told me has a gargantuan number of views on it all these years later, right? The Bircham?
Because we got it onto the Daily Wire and they cut a trailer or something and put it out.
Is that what it was? Yeah, he told me it's already a huge hit.
10 years after. Do we have, I don't know, it's 2 minutes in or something like that. We'll see if we can find it. We got Fruit of the Year. We got DFG, JV or all balls. That's a tough game to play. It's hard to get inside of the mind of the deaf frat guy.
Yeah. What year is he in now at SC?
Oh, he's out.
I haven't caught up with him in a long time. That's what happens when you leave college. You go your separate ways.
Yeah. All right. So he'll be calling in. We'll have that clip. You want to try? Well, see, he's calling in a minute, so maybe we should hang on to. Maybe I think what we should do.
His schedule, I'm sure, is very busy, so we better be ready to answer the phone right when he calls.
He's a disruptor as well, and he's highly sought after. So between being the disruptor
for sure
and being highly sought after, his schedule's very tight. So we don't want to make him wait. We'll take a break. Byron you'll find that Bircham thing somewhere. We got Fruit of the Year, and we'll do JV or all balls right after this.
As we venture into our 15th year of podcasting, here's another memorable moment. Now, for some new memorable moments, let's get back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Check. Dave Dameshek in studio. -3 with Kevin Hench, who's just the best, is the podcast, and Extra Points as well with Sarah Tiana, who's been in here and is a delight as well. And you can go check him out. His Twitter, @Dameshek, Instagram, Dameshek.
You'll love this 15-minute
well.
pregame show we do, Ace, because I don't know who decided about 20 years ago that pregame shows had to be 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And everybody has to laugh at non-jokes
Yeah.
and everything. Half the show is a promotion for like, still to come, the sit down with the offensive coordinator, born with one leg, who's now running the league. All that
Yeah,
kind of stuff. This is 15 minutes. We tell
Yeah.
you what the scores are going to be, what you need to bet on, and then you can go about your day.
Perfect. Bite size.
Thank you.
All right. We got this little snippet from Bertram that covers the peanut butter, because I think he's in trouble because he brought a peanut butter and jelly sandwich into school.
I know you know Carver is a nut-free zone.
Am I the only one who sees the irony in banning peanut butter at a school named after the guy who invented peanut butter?
Actually, he didn't invent peanut butter.
I'm pretty sure the guy who dedicated his entire life to mashing peanuts invented peanut butter, okay?
Ambrose Straub invented peanut butter.
Jesus Christ. You're telling me George Washington Carver made axle grease and lantern oil out of peanuts but missed peanut butter altogether? Then why'd we bother changing the name of the school?
Mr. Bertram, my office now.
All right. So that's how I remember it was Ambrose. But he made the machine. All right. All right. Is DFG on?
Looks like I'm seeing.
Oh, do we see it? No? Oh, he's on line one. All right.
Yeah.
We put it on the screen, right? No. Oh, okay. All right.
He's playing the clip.
I got it. But that should have been on during the commercial, right? He's been on for a little while. Okay.
Hey, DFG.
Put it on the screen. DFG.
Hell yeah. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah. Your old friend Sheck is in studio.
Dave is in studio. Hey, what's going on, Dave? How are you, bro? Hell yeah.
Hey, Mav, how's life? How the ladies treating you?
Pretty good, dude. Hey, you have a big game coming up on Sunday.
No, my team lost a while
You
ago.
love the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, they lost a little while back. But thank you, though.
Oh, shit, dude.
No, don't worry
That's all
about
right.
that.
That's
Don't
all
get
right.
down.
Don't
Don't get
get
down
down.
in the dumps. I don't like that when that happens.
You know, sometimes he gets a little bummed out about
Yeah, I
his
heard
hearing.
about that. Yeah.
So, Mav, you want to do some...
My bad.
You prepare.
My bad.
That's all right.
Okay.
That's all right. Don't get down on yourself.
He's really beating himself up.
I know. You want to do some JV or all balls?
Hell yeah. Let's kick it off.
Yeah, we got...
Is Dave going to play?
Dave's going to play.
Okay, let's kick it off. So,
If something's bullshit, he'll make the call. So now it's time for JV or all balls.
All right, so all balls is good and JV is bad. So he'll put the subject out and we'll decide whether it's good or it's bad.
hell yeah. So the first one we're going to ask, is this JV or all balls? We're going to the giant subcontinent of India. And I'm going to ask you, what about the caste system?
Oh, the caste system of India.
Hell yeah.
Which
The caste system of India.
I does it remain today? So I know the British got in there for as bad as if you saw the movie Gandhi, you would hate the Brits, But they did have certain customs in India, like if the guy died, they burned the wife too at the funeral. There are certain things where the British went like, hey, you know what? Let's tone that one down a little bit. I know you don't like having these sort of overlords here, but some of their ideas were strong. You know what I mean? And
Yeah. I think, I don't know, arranged marriage might have its pluses when you think about it,
Yeah, and that's basically the caste system is sort of the opposite of what we have here in the United States, theoretically, although everything is going to fall under that to some degree. Like when you look at these senators, it's like you had 5 kids. Yeah, all of them got into Harvard? That's right. So they're all just crushed it on the SATs. They all went to Harvard. Like, okay, so we have that system.
It's sports. It was sports before free agency. Oh, you had a couple good drafts in a row? Well, you shall dominate for the next 15 years. You had a couple bad drafts? You're going to stink for the next 15 years.
A lot of parity.
Right.
Now, all right, I'm going to say this is JV.
I'm going to agree. I think the caste system ultimately JV.
I'm going to say all balls.
You know, there are those who say, like, dude, grin and bear it. Deal with it. Like, you're untouchable. Get on with your life. But in this country, you know, if you are scrappy, you can advance. You can do what you want, but there you can't. JV.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Chris probably thought that. He was just going opposite, see if he could grab a quick point.
I'm surprised, though. You know, he's actually, you can tell Maverick has grown up. He's matured. He went to USC. You would think he would like things to stay status quo. He was the powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
He's rooting for the plucky underdog.
Yeah, I was trying to get in the mind of DFG, not how I felt.
Don't ever do that.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one, golden showers.
Golden showers. Well,
rangy one already. Just 2 questions in and already.
Yeah.
Such range.
As the recipient of a golden shower, too, unsolicited, but that's just the way we rolled back then.
Non-romantic.
No, though I've always said it. I've had, you know, my friends have definitely loogied on me, and they've definitely peed on me, and I prefer the pee to the loogie because the loogies have an adhesive quality to them, whereas the urine, you know, that's piss off a duck's back, you know, it just rolls right off you.
Literally.
Yeah. Also, Dr. Drew really. He's a disruptor, Drew is. And he told me once that urine was sterile.
Of all the things I've heard you bring up in conversation in the last 20 to 25 years, you mentioning that pee is sterile is your number one I've heard you talk about. You are
number one. I'd say left turn arrows.
Left turn arrows up there.
Right.
But I think you announcing, as a defense of the fact that you used to pee in the coffee pot at the Man Show.
That was to send a message.
Okay. Either way, but you used to announce, like, it's not that bad, Jimmy.
Yeah,
no one's going to get sick. It's fine.
Yeah.
Jimmy's like, we're going to get sued. We're going to get sued by one of these writers. They're going to drink your urine, and then what?
Well, they destroyed the bathroom, and that was my protest. Much like Gandhi
You should have
trying
been there,
to get rid of the British.
You would have loved the Man Show, being on it, doing anything with it. Maverick.
Oh, yeah, it was like a big frat house.
You would have loved that, Maverick. I'm not trying to rub it in after the fact, but you would have had a great time over there.
Man, so, yeah, that was with the juggies, girls on trampolines.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine the work you would have done with those juggies.
Man.
Can you imagine how they would have, like moths to a flame?
All right. The golden shower, as long as it's between consenting Germans, I'm fine with it. I say it's all balls.
I'm going to go JV.
Okay.
I can't imagine being aroused enough by a woman that I would think like, yeah, the peeing on me part, real turn on. No, I'm going to go thumbs down.
Yeah, I'm going all balls. It's sterile, functional.
That's right.
Now, okay, assuming that it is sterile, but still what I just don't get is like, you marry, you get married, and it's like the judge is like, take this lady to have and to hold and to pee in her face. Like, I think that this is a lady, not a human urinal. And like, I love you, baby. Hey, honey, I love you so much. Here, enjoy this fire hose of piss.
Yeah.
I know it's a free country. I know that urine is sterile. But I have to go JB. It's a human being, not a human toilet bowl.
Okay. All right. Wow.
It's not a human toilet bowl.
Wait, are you saying it's not a human toilet bowl? All right.
Stand right there, baby. Here, I love you so much. Now have a fistful of my pee.
When he puts it like that, Adam.
You're right. But that's why you got to play the game.
Yeah, I forgot how much
Get
the ladies
more
manual was,
into the
yeah.
bathtub, baby. Yeah, I don't want any piss to get on the floor.
Yeah. I guess you're right. I never really
point.
thought
I
about
don't care if it's sterile. You need to shampoo and condition your hair. I love you.
I didn't really think about the exchanging of vows and as it pertained to the golden shower and how that would need to be addressed in that forum. And I just didn't think that. So you're right.
And in thickness and in, peeing on her face.
No. Yeah, I didn't think about the padre up there delivering, in front of the family. All right. Well, that's why you got to play the game.
Yeah.
It's a good note too, by the way, about the shampoo and conditioning.
Yeah.
Really helps your head.
Yeah, and don't take the shortcut with the Pert Plus. There's no such thing as shampoo and conditioner in the same bottle. Mm-hmm.
Hey, look what your grandmother, she baked you some cookies. Oh, by the way, I used to pee all over her face.
Yeah. Yep, you'd have to include that in the conversation with the grandkids.
Is that the practice?
I call her the human urinal.
So the sexual deviant, Mav, I didn't say I'm not familiar too much with personal practice of the peeing on. So it's always got to be all over the face. It seems like the Mav assumes that if you're getting the golden shower, it's got to be squarely directed right at the punum, right?
Where else are you going to do it? Her back?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
You're
That's
right.
why I asked. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, I do know guys, maybe I've done it, I can't remember, take a shower with the lady and take the piss on the foot in the shower joke. Has anyone else done that? I do know guys, I do have guy friends that have done that, and the chick gets pissed off.
Ironically or otherwise gets pissed off. I've not attempted that one.
Well, the day is young.
But that's not because of the woman, because the joke would be one thing, but I'm skittish about standing in my own urine. We've debated this, but I would never
You don't
pee
piss in the shower?
Never. I think it's
that's the best place to pee.
I know. We've had this debate.
All right.
It's not for me.
All right. Byron, make sure urine is sterile, because Drew told me that 25 years ago, and then somebody later went,
No, you know what it was?
Technical.
I mean, I don't think it's good for you. I wouldn't encourage it, but what's his name? The guy, 127 hours. That's how he stayed alive, right? He drank his own pee.
Oh, yeah?
I'm pretty sure. The guy with his arm trapped behind the boulder.
Certain Mexican fighters will drink their own urine,
There's
too.
the message right there that it's not sterile.
But you can drink it. So if you can drink it, you can get a face full of it, Mav. Resident bacteria community may contribute to urinary health and disease in undiscovered ways. Bacterial all right.
Mav, if you found out though that a prospective pledge to the house got boners from being peed upon, you're saying that would rule him out? He would not be a part of the frat.
It's a free country.
Okay.
Not a deal breaker.
I'm talking about if it's doing it to a lady.
Okay. All
a
right.
lady to you, that is your own business.
All right. Let's keep
It's a free
moving.
country.
Let's keep moving forward. We got a tight game
It's
here.
a free guy. He's right.
Okay,
It is.
so JB.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Now the the next one is trapping. This sport, where you set a trap to get an animal.
Trapping.
Yeah, like in Alaska, you follow the tracks. And the show Trapper John M.D.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember that show.
It had nothing to do with trapping, but anyway.
Trapper John M.D. was a spin-off of MASH.
Right.
And he came back stateside and became, continued his work as a physician, this time in a more hospitable environment. All right.
More dramatic environment, too. Went from a half hour to an hour.
Purnell.
No, he was a trapper in Maryland.
Yeah. All right, I don't like trapping. I feel bad. Those bear traps that the coyote or wolf steps in or something and chew off their own foot or whatever that is. I don't like it. On the other hand, if it's man in the wilderness and you got to survive and it's snowing outside, you got to eat. But I'm against I'm against it. I don't like it.
Well, like Donovan,
I say JV, sorry.
Like Loxamana Donovan said earlier, you have to get in the mind. You have to try to get into the mind of Mav. I suspect he and his bros have trapped more than a lady or two in their day in the frat house, right? I'm going to say he says all balls.
You know what's weird? Half the jerkies out there got the word trapper and an old trapper or Kentucky trapper or whatever it is. But most people would sort of frown on the notion of a trapper. And so it's like, why? It's like, why don't you name your jerky Old Racist or Kentucky Racist or something? Because people have the same reaction. Like, I like it. I have
It's a
dog.
violent, unnecessary practice. Enjoy your jerky.
Yes. And it also suggests that that's how you caught the cow. The cow was minding its own business out in the wilderness and pop, you got him. And now I'm eating him? I don't like that association. All right, I'm going JV. You going all?
I'm going all balls.
All balls.
I'm attempting to get into the frat dude's mind.
And I'm with Adam. I think it's JV for animals, at least on land, but I believe lobsters to catch them.
You're
you
right.
trap them.
I was thinking about it. Once we go into the sea,
Right.
I'm all for the nets and
So
the
I'd be a
traps.
hypocrite to say it's JV if I'm eating seafood. So I'm going to say all balls.
All right.
Crabs.
Crabs, right. Mm-hmm.
Look, you don't just catch crabs from Ashley.
Oh, wait, which Ashley we talking about?
Oh, the one that rocked the full 70s bush.
Oh, not the Tridelt?
No, the one. The one with the full bush, who gave half the campus crabs.
Really? Yeah, but, listen, I'm not gonna walk my answer back, but it's called lobster fishermen and crab fishermen. They don't say crab trappers. And so when you say trappers or trapping, I think land-based.
Right.
Because they got the word fishermen. They don't call them trappers. It's weird. They are
George,
trappers.
you're a land snob.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, DFG.
Well, at the house, there was a raccoon that was getting into all of our shit. So I set a trap, and I go out, and the thing is in the trap, and it's looking at me like, dude, seriously? And I'm like, I can't kill you, bro. And it had hurt its paw. So I basically nursed it back to health.
His dad was hurt?
We kept it in the house until it fucked Moose's cat.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
So, all right, first things first. Did you bait the trap with peanut butter? Because that's my hypothesis.
No, I used sardines.
Oh, sardines. Smart. More pungent. The scent probably
With
goes
just
up.
a little bit of lemon.
Oh, really? All right, so you use sardines with a little bit of lemon to bait the trap,
A
right?
little acid, yep.
And then Rocket came into the house, and you guys sort of befriended him, and it was going good for a while, right?
Yeah, it was chill. It was just like, a pet. I mean, it was wild, but then it became tame.
Uh-huh.
or was he pretending?
Domesticated it.
Pretending to be tame.
And how do you know what happened with Moose's cat and the raccoon? Did you walk in on something?
They were stuck.
Oh, they're stuck that way.
Yeah, I went into Moose's room. I went into his suite to get some blue cheese dressing, and I see the raccoon going to town on his cat.
Wait, why does Moose have blue cheese? Oh, he has a mini fridge?
Yeah, he loves blue cheese dressing.
Boy, this
that
onion
part.
that is moose.
Wow.
All these years later, that you can
We should
still
get
peel
moose.
another layer.
Oh,
it's
my
amazing.
God.
Blue cheese advocate.
So you go into Moose's suite to get blue cheese, and you see they're connected.
Yeah, and there was like, obviously there's a spittoon right there. So I chucked a spittoon on it because, cold water, whatever. And they separated. And
You spoiled the contents of the spittoon onto the two beasts in coitus?
it was like a red keg cup with like spit, spit beer, but it was cold enough to separate them.
All right.
Science.
So I still don't know if this is JV or all balls then.
I feel that the thing with trapping, it's not really like you were saying, not like warm and fuzzy, like Daddy, can we please go trapping this weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's have some family fun and do some trapping. But because you find the thing frozen, but then they're like pythons, things that need to be trapped. Squirrels.
Yeah.
Squirrels basically suck.
Yeah, they do. Squirrels in your attic. You got to
Feeling
trap
case
them.
by case. I don't know.
Yeah. So what do you think?
Deer suck.
Yeah, right. But you can eat them at
But you
least.
trap them.
Mm-hmm.
Carp.
Yeah. All right. So once we go through the contents of Noah's Ark, we can get to JV or all balls, right?
Oh yeah.
So what do you think, Matt? Because this game, if Sheck wins here, he's going to pull out quite a bit.
Blue cheese for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Final answer.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's JV.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. No, we're tied up now, right?
Yeah, you and Shaq.
You have another one ready to go? I could throw one at you.
We'll do a tiebreaker.
I have one ready to go, Dave, but you are not going to like this one. This came from Poochy's uncle, dude, and I don't know if you're sitting down, but maybe this is time for you to take a seat, bro.
I'm sitting. Thank you.
Okay, all I'm going to say is I'm going to get into I'm going to tell you what the topic is, and then I'm going to basically tell you what happened. Okay?
But this is Poochie's uncle?
Yeah, he's involved. Yeah.
Okay. How's his testicular torsion doing? Is he still sitting on his balls?
He hasn't complained of it lately.
Okay, good.
That's good.
He's just been on. He feels like he discovered E equals MC. Well, he found this clip, and he's been on me, and he's like, if you show this to Dave Dameshek, he will get really bummed out.
Okay. Well, let's hear it.
I made this cut to the chase. So the question was talking heads. It is political season. Talking heads are on the TV all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a trick, a trap. This is not that. This is the band, the Talking Heads.
So,
can I just tell you what they did to Shaq? It was classless. It was gutless. It was amateur hour. It was a clown show.
Oh.
What the band, the Talking Heads, did to Shaq?
Wait, do you know what did they do to you?
I'd rather not go into it here.
Poochie's uncle was listening to a bootleg of an old concert by the Talking Heads.
Oh, Dawson keeps nodding his head over there like he's got something to play.
Please don't do this.
Oh, wow.
Not just a
Permantes. Yeah, other people
The
live
whole city.
How dare you, David Byrne? You son of a bitch.
there. Wow.
Why would he take a cheap shot? One thing that is definite, JV, is when people punch down.
Punching down, yeah.
I'll take that. That's right. David Lynch, legendary front man of Legendary Talk. It counts as punching down at me. But you know what I say back to him? He doesn't care about America, clearly, because Pittsburgh is where the materials were forged to make the battleships and the tanks that defeated the Nazi scourge.
That's right.
If you don't like Pittsburgh, go give a call to Mussolini. He'll agree with you. You don't like Pittsburgh, you don't like freedom. Screw!
Also, it's David
it's
Byrne.
David Byrne. By the way, you just made fun of the director, writer. I think.
Gold from his ass.
He said David Byrne earlier, but I don't know why I changed it. Yeah.
All right, well, he gets the message.
Yeah, well, whoever, let that be for all of you, catch-all, for all of you.
A trap.
Yeah, listen, I've been to the Steel City. I enjoyed myself. I've been there more than once. I had a good time.
Yeah. PNC is my favorite stadium.
Over there. Yeah.
Telling on yourself for not being a real person. You don't like Pittsburgh. Go, exist on the coast.
But then the Talking Heads, the band, they're very artistic. And they have some good songs, and then they have some songs that probably shouldn't be played as much. Like, I would rather hear Pulled Up, this song.
Burning Down the House is ironically one of their worst songs, but it's probably the most popular song they've ever had. Their drummer, by the way, went to my high school. Perhaps they invoked Pittsburgh as some sort of in-band jibe, because the drummer is from Pittsburgh.
Well, Dave, we have to pick separately here in order to break the tie.
Well, not only is David Byrne JV, he's also a jerk!
He's a zero. Dave, he's a zero, a nobody, a clown.
And a loser.
He's worse than that raccoon.
All right. So you go JV.
That's cool.
I'll go all balls so that we can all go home.
It was JV. It was classless. It was gutless.
Yeah,
it
I
was
agree.
To say, he goes, of all the shitholes, the worst is Pittsburgh, PA. Why, dude?
Yeah.
Mav is welcome on Mo Dameshek's couch any day of the week. Keep your mitts off, but you're welcome any day of the week on her couch.
Yeah.
I want to have a Pimentel submarine sandwich.
Well, it'll be on Shaq. DFG, shoot him a tweet at Def Frat Guy. Always good. You got to play the game. Thanks, Maverick.
Hell yeah, that's the food.
Okay.
I was going to ask, all balls are JV. JV. JV sports. I bet you're against them. Adam, you say JV.
In my high school, we had the B team, which was not about what grade you were in. It was about how many points you accumulated. So you got a couple of points more if you were a junior or senior versus the 10th grade, because we only had 3 grades. And then you'd get a couple more points by weight. So we had seniors on my B team. They were just 20 pounds lighter than the 10th graders who were on the same team. So that's some weird algorithm. And then the JV team were just scrubs, just pure scrubs. And then there was the varsity. So you didn't even want to be on the JV team. You want to be on the B team or on the varsity team.
Yeah, I would just think that junior varsity, because you've spoken out against participation trophies and so on like that, I would think you would say, if you ain't good enough, you ain't good enough. We don't need a team for you.
Yeah, I mean, I get, and for clarification, I always have to clear this up to people. Participation trophies have been around for longer than I got them when I was, with the East Valley Trojans and Eric Kramer when we were 7, 8, 9 years old, all back in the day. And I always got, I got a participation trophy, which you should get if you went to all the practices and participated in the games, even if you sat, rode the pine, which no one can say anymore. So everyone goes, oh, they have a participation trophy. No, it's that everyone gets a participation trophy who participated, but you don't care because you want the best defensive lineman or you want the all-star. a nod. You want the other trophy. The other ones were just sort of paperweights, you know. It didn't mean anything. I even got into this with Drew once. My junior year of high school, I played varsity, and I started off on the bench and ended up being a pretty decent starter. And I got most improved, and I was embarrassed. I didn't want it.
Huh?
I didn't. It was like,
What's
it's
the
weird because, well, it's you know, I'm sure it's low self-esteem or being a Carolla or something. And it was an interesting thing, which is Drew was like, "Oh no, that's great. That means how much you improved." And I was like, "Yeah, but that just means I wasn't that good when I started, and now I'm okay." And I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
Yes, you reside in your own head. I reside in my own head, perhaps a little bit too much, or at least more than some other people do. So, right. Whereas the rest of the world wouldn't see it that way. I get completely what you're talking about. That in retrospect, nobody said to you when the football season started, like, you're not that good, Adam. But now that you find out that that's what they thought of you, in hindsight, you're embarrassed. I completely get that. Like, oh, you didn't like me when I first came onto the team. That's what I would hear. Right.
I looked at most improved almost in the same category as a participation trophy. I just was like, no. The next year, I got best defensive player and was the only player on our team to make the All-Valley team on offense. And that I was completely satisfied with that because there's only one. It's mainly because we sucked, but there's only one guy that gets All-Valley on offense, and I got best defensive player. So I'm now satisfied and ready to go on a construction site and pick up garbage for a day. With my head held high. Held high. All right. We got the news.
We also have Fruit of the Year.
Shit. Fruit of the Year.
Found out Fruit of the Year.
Sorry. We need Fruit of the Year.
You want to do that right now?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Let's not stand on ceremony. I'm just going to get to it here. As I said, 2023, the calendar year, by my measure, and it is a committee of one who decides the Shecky Awards after all, I felt the year didn't deserve it. It was unworthy of the great honor of a Shecky Award. But you know what? Let's go to it here. Adam has always been supportive. Even if he doesn't like the particular choices, he enjoys the spirit of what the Sheckies are about.
Got to be done.
32nd year now.
Really?
I don't know. I don't know. But either way, yes, I fought bitterly with Adam Carolla about the Fruit of the Year in the past. Of course, in recent vintage, you'll recall, the Envy Apple had a remarkable run, 3-year run of dominance, setting a new standard, not just for apple varietals, but for all of fruit. Then last year, the strawberry jumped in, and it claimed the crown. This year...
All right, you know my apple argument. We wouldn't give it all the euphemistic titles if it was a decent fruit, you know, this Honey Crisp and Envy. It's like all the dopes. I'm drinking Smart Water. Yeah, it's corn syrup and red dye number 3, you fucking retard. Yeah. I'm drinking
Delicious. Give
me another Great Me soda. Like everything is like Smart, Brain, Excel. This is fucking water with corn syrup. It's for dumb people. They do that with these apples.
Don't you?
They give it.
Don't you dare, Adam.
Who fluffs up real fruits? You know what I mean? No one says, have you tried a Bestis blueberry? No, it's just blueberries. It's just blueberries. It's oranges. It's grapefruit. Right. It's strawberries. Only the apple goes into this is the nummy num num num.
That's, you know what? That is an homage to its greatness. Like you started this show, that there are a million different kinds of pizza. That's because people can't get enough of it. Same thing with the apple, friend.
All right.
Except the headline, even with the Shecky Award, the granddaddy of all the categories, Fruit of the Year, has been sullied by the apathy of the front runner of all fruits, the apple. And I'm talking about all the varietals. Your headline for this Shecky Award, Fruit of the Year, no apples represented.
Thank God.
None.
God. Good.
Not
the presses.
None are nominated.
You know what I say? I say good riddance.
I mean, you go too far, Adam. Now you go too far. I don't know who
made
you're
the
showing
argument.
off for, but
the
I don't
argument
like
that Czech has never recovered from is when you get the fruit bowl at the diner, you pick out all the stuff you like: the mangoes, the strawberries, the melons, and at the bottom is the lonely apple. The very bottom, the last piece consumed. There needs to be no. I rest my case, Your Honor.
That's not rest your case, and I've told you the answer. Response to it. It's a star. It's not a part of an ensemble.
It's Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, that's goddamn right. That's what it is.
Guitars, not rhythm.
I don't want to argue though because
right,
it's diminishing the matter at hand.
All right.
2023 was not a good year for the Apple. After all the songs, how do you think that makes me look as somebody who has touted you in the face of dim cynicism, like you just heard from Adam Carolla? I fight the good fight. I promoted you, Honey Crisp, and Cosmic Crisp, and Envy, and Fuji, and Pink Lady. And how do you repay me? By having a thoroughly mediocre 2023 after not a great 2022, I don't mind telling you. That's why none of us is represented here. Wow. Now, on to the nominees for the 2023 Shecky Award for Fruit of the Year. The aforementioned strawberry. It had another nice year. Nice, consistent, sweet, delicious every time I tried it.
It's the Jennifer Aniston of fruits.
Consistent, yeah.
Not a supermodel, always there.
I think you'll notice this. Next up, seedless red grape. Crunchy. When it's sitting in that fridge and you go grab it out, you know what you're going to get and you know it's going to taste good. Again, Mike Tomlin coming back to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, maybe there's a better, tastier coach out there. We know he's going to get us to double digits and into the playoffs. Yeah. Okay, maybe it's not a Super Bowl, but it's going to taste good, right?
Yeah.
Consistent. Delicious. You understand? Always good. These are not your fruits of the year, though. No. I just said this is a sour year, a bad year. Your 2023 Shecky Award for Fruit of the Year goes to the lemon. Suck it, fruit. You taste that bitterness? Good. You deserve it.
You're right.
You also happen to be delicious in dessert and
You're
in
right,
tea
the meringue
and in
pie.
water. But that's not my point. My point is meant to be symbolic. You want to suck on the lemon.
Now you're
fruit.
right. You're right.
It's bold.
It's bold. It helps drinks. You're right.
Shame on the rest
You're right
of you.
back. All right.
Shame
Can we get serious for a second about fruit and vegetables? I don't like what has happened to tomatoes.
What's happened to them?
I'll tell you what's happening. And I don't like where people have gone emotionally with tomatoes. Listen to me. Those cherry tomatoes suck. They are a ball of pus that has a bitter, thin, chewy jacket around them. They're the best part of the tomato is the meat of the tomato. Like a beefsteak tomato is the fucking best. Romas are good. They have meat. This is the worst part of the tomato. It's the pus and then a chewy sort of sour ball around on the cherry tomato. And just because you've changed the shape of the cherry tomato and made it look like a gourd now, you're not fucking fooling me. And the worst is all the restaurants have copped out. When you order a salad, they go, oh, that comes with tomatoes. Not the tomato that's in my head. It's the easy tomato that you buy that, by the way, seems to have a shelf life of 30 years. You can take those little miniature round balls of pus and put them in the fridge. They'll last 15 years. When I say I want tomato in my salad, I mean I want pieces of tomato, not these pussy balls cut in half and thrown in a haphazard way.
It's a cop-out.
We got to get back
where these tomatoes.
We got to get back to beef steak. That is a fucking tomato. And every time I pitch this to anyone, they go, "Oh, I like the cherry tomato." Fuck you. Then you don't like tomatoes. You don't. It's not a good tomato. It's a pussy, sour, weird thing with a tough skin on it. Ugh. Now they've improved a little from the cherry tomato of my youth. in my youth, you would order a salad. It would just have one cherry tomato and would just roll around on the top. And you can't cut it in half because it'll shoot across the restaurant. At some point, you just have to throw the whole thing in your mouth and bite into it. And it became very homoerotic. Like, ugh, yuck. But we need to get back to the beef. We go Roma. We don't, and there's a regular tomato. You can go look at the ones you grew up with, full size. Let's get away from all the fucking mini ones. They're selling them to everyone. Everyone is so aesthetically oriented now that they go, oh, we'll just get the chub pack of the little ones with the 130, and we'll just cut them all and throw them all in the fucking.
Well, you're
fucks
right.
Everything up.
Do the dirt at least if you're gonna impose the cherry tomato on me. You have to do the hard work of splitting it. When I have to squish it betwixt my teeth and it explodes, it's too much.
And also,
it's too much tomato.
Here's the rule. If I don't want it on my burger, I don't want it in the salad or anywhere else. If they put cherry tomatoes on your burger, you'd burn the fucking establishment down, right? You go, what the fuck is this doing here? They suck. They got some kind of campaign or some kind of publicist, just like passion fruit iced tea did 20 years ago, where they just bum rushed us all. They've convinced all the dingbats, oh, no, I like passion fruit. I like the cherry. Go home and talk to your missus about it. They'll go, oh, I like that. No, you don't. Or you don't like tomatoes. It's just one of the fucking other.
It's a copycat league, though, Adam, and people saw what's become of the Brussels sprout, a punchline. For the vast majority of our lives, a punchline for man's existence until 2 minutes ago. Now it's delicious. It's prepared. Now everybody else wants to get some of that similar shine. If Brussels sprouts can do it, maybe we can too.
Imagine you did to the cherry tomato from the beefsteak tomato, regular tomato. What if you did that with an avocado? Look, this one's a miniature little avocado that's mostly pit. I'd go, then fuck off. Give me a regular avocado. It's not broken. Yeah. I like avocado.
You're not choosing cherry tomatoes because of flavor. It's because of convenience.
But don't you see the
convenience and aesthetic? They like the presentation of it. It's chick based. They like the little things, and they also give them cutesy fucking names too, which attracts dumb people.
Cutie oranges, to prove your point.
That's right.
Yeah. It's you make a compelling case there, but of course, the miracle of the apple. It's that same thing. A tomato. It almost looks like an apple if you look at them real quick. You don't know the difference between the two. Except when you slice the tomato, it's the same color on the inside. What a miracle it is! Who's the first person to eat an apple like this red and this ruby red? What the golden yellow on the inside? Witchcraft has never been more delicious. But by the way, I also failed to shout out the watermelon, which I think deserves, talk about most improved. In the span of our lifetime, Adam, think about it. Watermelon was like a 6-week to 2-month fruit. It was classic summertime, and that's how you knew it. And in fact, I would make
Dave,
the case,
if you're going to compare it to a black NFL coach, I just want to stop you right now. I just want to intervene if that's where you're going.
It's 2024.
all right, then, okay.
You're done.
Your show.
Okay,
Whatever you want to do.
I'm the last guy in the world to try to head someone off at the racial
crap on my point. That's fine.
I'm just saying, if that's where you're going, I'm just
But watermelon, for real, is there any fruit more associated with a season than watermelon is with summertime? But
no.
It's aspirational, much like the letter Q has crept its way up in the alphabet. It used to live down there with X, Y, and Z, but if you haven't noticed, it's now up there ahead of R, S, and T. Anyhow, watermelon is now legitimately an 8 to 10 month year fruit. Good for you. And in the span of our lifetime, I don't think we talk enough about the fact that those seeds, which were a tremendous pain in the ass. They were like, we've moved on with our lives and it's decades ago since we had to deal with it. But these kids don't know. That was a gigantic, it's like we didn't have TV growing. When we ate our watermelon, where I came from, it was all the seeds were a plague.
Yes.
Right?
I know.
We don't talk about that very much.
The watermelon is also a good metaphor for certain politicians.
How so?
You got the progressive AOC sort of environmental Green Party kind of movement people. The watermelon is what they are. Green on the outside, but red in the center.
Is that good or bad? I don't know.
So she's talking about saving the environment, but what she wants is control over your bank account. Red in the center, but green. Presenting itself as green, but inside. red.
So red equals control.
Yeah, Reds.
Okay, I didn't know.
That's the Soviet Union, my friend.
Oh,
That's their best friend.
now I'm with you.
The
More
Reds.
pink, but okay, I get
The
it.
Reds.
Pinkos.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Should we do a little news?
Sure. So let's do some sports news here. So the Clippers. So they are going to be playing in their new stadium next season. The Intuit.
I love their owner.
Yeah, Steve Ballmer.
Yeah,
he
just
is enthusiastic.
when he gave me he started a little speech about bathrooms. I was like, I love this guy.
So
He's like, there are going to be more bathrooms here than any other arena ever. I was like, nice.
yeah, he has some really great promises for the Intuit Dome, which they'll start in 24-25 season, the 2024-25 season. $2 billion arena located in Inglewood, about 18,000 people it could seat, but it's going to have a unique fan section. So they're going to call it The Wall. Mm-hmm. It's going to be located behind one of the baskets. It's going to be 51 uninterrupted rows of passionate Clippers fans. Mm-hmm. And so it'll be about 300 fans. But they have some rules if you want to get tickets for The Wall. One, only for Clipper fans. If you choose to be part of The Wall, you and your guests cannot cheer for the opposing team or wear any gear that supports our opponents.
All right.
Yeah, and any fan who breaks the Wall code will lose access to the section.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So yeah, just a dedicated area for Clippers fans.
On each side.
Oh no, just one side.
Just one
Yeah.
side. All right, but then when they switch sides, well, okay, then they'll
Yeah.
boo. All right.
Are you for this?
Yeah,
You're right.
I'm for anything that sounds interesting or fun
Anything
or different.
anything that will engender local support for the actual local teams. LA continues to struggle with the notion that because LA is a desirable place for people to live from different parts of the country, they're going to be fans of other teams, and so they resist that. And I guess good for what they need to do. I know you've heard me say this. The Los Angeles Clippers will never, no matter what they do, they will never take over the LA Lakers. So they should be the Hollywood anythings. Anything you want to name them. I'm not, beggars can't be choosers. Ballmer, you're a great businessman. There's already an LA NBA team. It's called the Lakers. Move on. Become the Hollywood Knights, the Hollywood Stars, the Hollywood Rhinos. I don't care what it is. Forge a new identity. This is super weird to want to be like, hey, we're going to keep fighting back. The good fight. You're never going to win. Stop doing it.
Yeah, there's a movie called The Hollywood Knights.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? There's precedent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there also last week there were some pretty notable press conferences that happened. Let's start off with Bucks coach Todd Bowles.
All right.
So he was asked, I know this game already happened for those listening, but he was asked how his team was going to prep for their upcoming game against the Lions as we record this, and this is what happened.
Coach, looking forward towards Detroit. The weather has been a factor in some of the playoff games, even for the most prepared teams. Today, it's 13 in Detroit, which doesn't compare to some of the temperatures we tend to get up to. Any special plans to acclimate the team to not only endure, but perform in those kind of frigid temperatures should you face them in Detroit?
You do know we play indoors, right? And they got a dome. No, nothing planned. We're indoors, and we only have to be outside for 20 seconds getting off the bus going under the thing, so we'll be okay.
I love
very nicely.
That, it always reminds me of, Byron, you got to find when the senator, the congressman was asking the admiral from the Navy whether he thought Guam was going to capsize. That's always the greatest. To me, it's the answer part. Or like, you put too many troops on that island, it may turn over, right? And he's like, we don't anticipate that. Yeah.
Well, I like to go
They both gave the same kind of magnanimous answer. What the fuck was she thinking as a sports reporter?
I love it. There was also, I don't know if you saw the Packers reporter outside of Lambeau Field, and Jair Alexander, their star cornerback, ran up on camera while she's doing a live hit. And he's like, let's go Packers or something like that. She's like, look, a local fan is very excited. It's like, I don't know how you come back from that. And I like to go to Super Bowls and I like to ask the players and coaches if it's a must-win game. The key difference is I'm joking around.
That's right.
She was serious. That was a serious question, for goodness sakes.
We have the clip. Who's in the clip? He's currently a senator, isn't he? Who is that?
Robert Willard?
No, that's the admiral.
Hank Johnson.
Hank Johnson. Still in there. Okay. Hank Johnson's from where? Who represents? We'll find out who he represents. Anyway, here's a real question to the admiral.
Yeah, my fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
We don't anticipate that. The Guam population, I think, currently about 100.
He's from Georgia, Hank Johnson. Still in there, but those are the people who represent us. Thinks Guam is going to tip over.
I just have a lot of respect for those when they answer the question. It's very respectful.
I could never.
Georgia across the aisle from Marge Green. What some group that they have that they're sending to D.C.
Some range.
Both sides of the aisle.
Some range.
Excellent. That guy was serious. Hank Johnson was seemed to really be asking that seriously. Tip the island over?
I say to everyone all the time, whether it's like Hank Johnson or whether it's the reporter or whether it's the crazy Los Angeles City Councilwoman who was blaming Toyota for making the catalytic converters too easy to steal. Too easy. The thing that's welded underneath the car is too easy to steal. Everybody, run your cockamamie thoughts up someone else's flagpole before you go into this thing. You know what I mean? Like, listen, I got a doozy. For the coach. I'm going to ask him about the weather conditions. And then you jump in and go, they're playing in a dome. So ask another question. I'm going to talk about Guam. Caps, do not do that. You're going to have to get a CAT scan if you do it.
Work it out at an
I'm going to blame Toyota. I'm blaming Toyota for the steaming. Bad angle. Don't say anything. People will know you're Nimrod.
You have people who work underneath you. You could float around them like, hey, I'm going to ask this guy, what do you think about that question? Before you go and ask.
Right.
Do I ask anybody near me, like, hey, I'm about to do this. Does that seem remotely amusing to you? Like if they're like, I don't get it, which is the answer I always get.
Right.
Which is my sad cross.
Yeah, we don't know what Frisian glass is for the 33rd time, Shek, but okay.
Yeah, like it never occurs to you to I better double check before I ask something so foolish as this.
Or, see, in their mind, it's not foolish, but go ahead and check anyway because you have a rich history of foolish ideas. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, here's something foolish for you from somebody who's very successful, but this was a weird move, I thought, from somebody who seems to have some sense. You like updates on our fantasy football league.
Of course.
Well, Bill Simmons was the front runner for most of the season. The Cool Cat, spelled with 2 Ks, helmed as always by Dave Dameshek. Unsurprisingly, made a hard charge, nearly caught him at the wire. Nevertheless, it was me or Simmons. It was pretty clear would probably win the whole thing when the playoffs got going. And Simmons decided in a group email to announce to other owners, as you may recall, the champion gets to kick out somebody of his choosing at the draft the following year. Simmons announces, hey, to whoever, you better be nicer to me because, I could still change my mind, but as it is, Dave Dameshek is definitely getting kicked out. Announces before the playoffs who he's kicking out. That's a bad idea. And a kick-out lead, sure enough, he got eliminated by Kevin Hench, who then turned around and eliminated Dameshek. So now my head's on the chopping block. But bad move, right? To announce your intent when the other guy who you announce may win, and then I have no choice but to say, well, I have dignity. I have to kick you out now.
Yeah, I don't think it's
weird move.
It's a strange strategy, but you gotta admire his hubris.
Especially since he is the Cleveland Browns of the league. He's never won anything. I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers.
He's the
I win all the
sports guy.
time. I win all the time. He never wins. Who are you to talk stuff? What are you talking? What are you doing? Making noise. You've never won before. This is the magic year, and you're calling your shot in advance. Weird.
All right, we got another. What do we got? Another clip?
I mean, we have a. Do you want to do the Patriots coach or Sean Strickland?
Let's do Strickland because he's a fan favorite.
So Sean Strickland. he had a fight last weekend.
UFC fighter.
Yeah, at
Sean
this point,
Strickland.
At this point, he was a champ. So here's him talking to a
He
Canadian
beat
reporter.
Israel Alessandra, which is crazy.
We've got a pretty supportive gay and lesbian community in this city. I did want to ask you about something you wrote a couple of years ago. You said, if I had a gay son, I would think I'd...
Oh, look, another. I'm saying to you, the swamp, you guys, the swamp.
You become a champion, you become a star, and some would say...
Let me ask you something. Are you gay?
Have you had the chance to interact with a more diverse...
Are you? Let me know. Are you gay?
Could I get an answer?
Well, no, I'm asking. This is a part of. Are you a gay man?
I'm an ally of the community.
Okay. If you had a son and he was like, you had a son, he was gay, you'd be like, oh man, you don't want a grandkid?
No problem with it.
Oh man, well, dude, you're a weak fucking man, dude. You're part of the fucking problem. You elected Justin Trudeau, when he sees the bank accounts, you're just fucking pathetic. And the fact that you have no fucking backbone. And has he shut down your fucking country and seized bank accounts? You ask me some stupid shit like that, go fuck yourself. Move the fuck on, man.
That doesn't really answer
coward.
the question, but I did want to ask also things you said about the trans community. You said this past October when they announced the Bud Light sponsorship that you'd go so hard on Bud Light in your next fight, they'll have to accept me or denounce me when they know what and will know what they stand for.
This guy's like, hey, this Canadian's not that Canadian.
Are you still going to use your fight time to kind of speak on that?
Here's the thing about Bud Light. 10 years ago, to be trans was a mental fucking illness. And now all of a sudden, people like you have fucking weaseled your way into the world. You are an infection. You are the definition of weakness. Everything that is wrong with the world is because of fucking you. And the best thing is the world's not buying it. The world's not buying your fucking bullshit you're fucking peddling. The world is not saying, you know what? You're right. Fucking chicks have dicks. The world's not saying that. The world's saying, no, there are two genders. I don't want my kids being taught about, who they could fuck in school. I don't want my kids being taught about, their sexual preference. Dude, this guy is the fucking enemy. You want to look at the fucking enemy to our world? It's that motherfucker right there.
Yeah, so I don't think he went through a lot of media training.
Well, I went through media training, and I can tell you there's some of the talking points were in that.
Oh, okay.
I agree with him about Justin Trudeau. He's a complete fucking pussy and a coward, and he is going to destroy Canada. Remember, Canada is about 5 years ahead of California in terms of whatever it's trying to do. So look out for Canada. It's going to get shitty over there. But it's weird that UFC is the only sport where anyone can just say anything and they don't care. And I don't know if that's a Dana White thing or there's no discipline. There's nobody jumping in. There's nobody being fined. I don't think. Could you imagine if he was a golfer? Could you imagine if he was in any other sport, but like NFL or golf, and just went on like that? You'd be out of the league. You'd be suspended. You'd be fined up the wazoo. UFC is just like, fuck it.
I don't know. I hear what you're saying. Yes, they are basically, and they obviously lean with Dana White on down. They lean in a certain political and, societal worldview. I think it's funny that in the NFL, remember Riley Cooper with the Eagles. I think he was N-bombing or whatever at a country music show.
Oh, that's right.
The Eagles suspended him for that.
Yes, that's right.
And John Gruden was going to get suspended, but then he walked away from it. And there was another one, too, where Richie Incognito, when he called that guy, when he called his teammate, remember all that? He got suspended by the Dolphins. What's interesting is Aaron Rodgers saying what he says. Woody Johnson is a known MAGA guy and, right-leaning and all of that. I wonder if the Jets, because
Woody Johnson
is the owner of the Jets, and so precedent by team is he said something that is offensive to people, but Woody Johnson's not going to suspend Aaron Rodgers. I wonder what's going to happen here, because that is borderline. You make the case danger. The thing I hear from that MMA guy is, and both sides do it. It's this inability, the cognitive dissonance of like the other side is trying to cancel everything, like. Well, the right is the one shooting beer cans, because they're upset about stuff. I think the weirdest one, it's all about trying to control. We all perceive ourselves, because of social media and otherwise, to have some control that we don't actually possess. I can tweet at Adam Carolla. And my words will be the same on Twitter as they are Adam Carolla. So we're even Steven. My words count as much as him. That's just a perception that isn't actually true. And I think it's weird that so many people are out there like trying to control the Taylor Swift. Stop cutting away to her. You're ruining my sport. I think it's super weird. Like, she's the most famous person on the planet. Her public whereabouts are news. Well, no matter where she is, getting groceries at a football game or otherwise, they're always going to be a camera on her.
You think she buys her own groceries? I agree.
I just think it's super weird that everybody wants to control, like, stop showing her, and then they keep showing her, and they're like, I told you I didn't want that. Like, okay, well, I don't know. What do you want? She's famous. They're going to keep showing her, I'm afraid.
Agreed. And I don't mind. And especially when she's rocking and rolling with his mom up there, you know.
I don't know. Hench has a theory that it has to do with her political leanings. Maybe it does. I don't think so.
You tell me if this rings you, but like, do you guys ever have this thought? Like, I don't know, like there's people, I know some people personally that are huge Eagles fans that I do not like. And I don't know Bradley Cooper personally, but I know he's insane and possessed. And Bradley Cooper is living large about now. All the nominations, all the accolades, nobody's at the height of their powers like Bradley Cooper. And when I see the Eagles get blown out, I go, how's it feel, bitch? Oh. Like, I know Bradley Cooper sitting at home having a shitty night.
Right.
A really bad night. Like all the Maestro Awards and the Golden Globes and the BAFTAs and everything. Tonight, really? All out the window. He feels much worse than I feel. And I do think about the handful of guys, and if I like them, then I go, oh, man, I like Hench, and the Patriots are losing again, and I kind of feel that for him. But if I don't like him, I kind of go like,
that's the way it works.
I know it's pretty elementary, but I should probably not be thinking about Bradley Cooper. I do not think that's going to help me write and direct my next nominated feature. Right. But I do see how pumped he is about the Eagles. And then also, where'd all these Philadelphia people come from? You know, I have a Philly, my dad's side of the family is a Philly family. I've lived in this town for my whole life. I didn't meet Philly guys. There was no Philly guys like anywhere. How did everyone like sort of magically become the Philly?
It's the way it is. People are front runners. When the Patriots had zero fans outside.
Zero fans.
There are a lot of, if you look at how they measure these things, the most popular franchise and everything, the Patriots are still on the list. There's a residual basking in the reflected glory that is now gone from there, but still, Patriots are in that. It's always the teams that are good. It says everything about the human condition or about society that a percentage of people are always going to try to attach themselves on who's doing well. And witness the Cowboys, the Steelers, the Raiders, and the Packers. Those are your most popular teams in the country.
Bulls fans we had to deal with in the 90s.
Oh, you don't hear much about the Bulls so much anymore, do you now? That's exactly right. When their teams are good, a lot of people latch onto them and claim, oh, yeah, I'm with them.
All time.
Living and dying with this team.
I have a question for you philosophically, Shek. I was talking to Melanie Newman yesterday. I got a couple of picks that Chris is going to allude to, but I was talking to Melanie Newman, who's Paul Newman's daughter. And she was explaining that she lives in Connecticut and the family. Did I say Melanie? Sorry, Melissa. So, they have, I think he says a daughter named Mel, too, or something. Anyway, let's not digress. I was talking to Melissa Newman. And you can leave it on the screen, by the way, Byron. That's my new policy. He popped up Melissa and then popped it off. Because I could have another brain fart and go Melanie again. But Melissa Newman.
Impossible, says Dawson.
And
can't be done.
That's his job. So here's the deal. She's in Connecticut, and the home track was Lime Rock, and Paul would go and win a race there. And there's a picture of one of my cars, a two-seater, a TR6, a Triumph TR6, a little sports car, a two-seat sports car, which in racing form doesn't even have a passenger seat, just as the one seat for weight issues. And when Paul won the race and won the D production championship, 7 people got into a 2-seater sports car. I mean, you think about a little 70s British sports car.
Yeah.
7 people got in and they went for a victory lap. So maybe we got a picture of that. All right, we'll put that up and then I'll pose. Oh, okay. All right. Chris, it's good to be on this side of the aisle, isn't it? See how it works now, right? Yes. Remember the 2-seater convertible part of the description. That's the other one.
That is, and like you just said, that is your car now, right? That's right down the street in the. Anyway,
do we not? Does that picture not exist?
We put up yesterday. Yeah, we should have it.
It was just up for a second.
No, there's a wrong picture. Oh. Can somebody put the picture
one with the
up?
Where she's holding the flag?
Well, there's only 2 pictures, right? Okay. That took way too long. All right. It is 7 people inside of a 2-seater, and including Melissa Newman, the daughter. Now, I don't know what could be more thrilling than your dad winning a race and you all piling in for a victory lap where you all just sat in there like homecoming queens. She's holding the flag, the checkered flag, and her dad, the great Paul Newman.
Looks like her mother, too. You can see that.
Yeah.
Is going to take a nice slow lap around. This is probably Road Atlanta where he won the championship. And then, anyway, there's another picture, which is the second one, and then I'll pose my question to you. Which you have to kind of zoom in on. But this is him winning. One is he wins the D production, and the next is he wins the C production. And once again, even though this time it's a closed car, it's a 280ZX, they pop the hatch in the back, and everyone piles into the car, and they go with 6 people in the car.
Like Sprite and Chim Chim used to do in the Mach 5. Right.
And they go for a victory lap, right? Now, here's the lesson for today, kids. This practice is now outlawed. And it's outlawed because it's too dangerous. Yep. Just like they've outlawed many, many things under the umbrella of it's too dangerous.
We'll never see this again.
We'll never see it. And worse yet, the kid will never experience it ever again. The 14-year-old daughter, the son, a memory that would be emblazoned in your mind for the woman is 61. I spoke to her the other day. It was like it happened yesterday. No more pictures, no more memories, because somebody may get injured.
Do you think it's just for racing or all around? Like, do you remember packing a car with all of your buddies, like to the brim? Just to go.
I am saying, Dawson is our guest here, by the way. Okay. How would I? Don't you put the sign up in the thing when the? Is every day a brand new day, Byron? What I'm saying is like you got to do certain protocols, otherwise.
For the listener's sake, Adam said, "Shouldn't you put the sign up, guest here?" And then the sign went up. Now Adam, the guest is here.
Well, here's my problem, Shaq. I'm not stopping because the sign isn't up, so I don't think the guest is here. Is that right?
Adam, that's actually my fault. I saw
okay.
Chris tell you that he was here, and so I told Byron to just disregard the sign, so sorry about that.
Oh, did I miss that part?
Yeah, I said he's in studio.
How about
he's
Emmy?
In studio.
He's
in studio and he's here already.
Ed, and then you responded to
you
Chris.
said he's in studio.
Yeah, and he's here already.
Oh, no, you just said the he's in studio part. You're talking about the guest?
Yeah, during the break.
And during the break, you said he was zooming in. And then he said he's in studio.
Yeah, he's in studio and he's here already.
But you left off the here part.
And then we had a conversation about being Zoom or.
I heard what Adam heard. I didn't think he was here yet. I thought he was on his way here physically. I didn't think he was physically
you didn't add
in
here already.
But either way, how about that Emmy? That's the way a man comports himself. Adam is a nice boss, but he's still tough.
You didn't add that part. You just said he's in studio. You said he's not Zooming. He's in studio. And I said, oh, okay.
When you lose a big football
game. And then you
game,
said, we do. I said, why is there confusion? You said, because we do one letter. We do a Z for Zoom and an S for studio.
We had that conversation because I said, he's in studio and he's here. He's like, oh, I thought he was Zooming in. I said, no.
You didn't say he's here already. That would have been really
You didn't say already.
Okay.
I have no stake.
Yeah, look, if that's fine. Like you may be right. You probably right.
I am right because Shaq didn't hear it either.
It was during the break. There's music playing. There's a lot going on. But the reason
the
that they
two
didn't
people
put
in the room did not hear you say he's here already.
I usually, if I know the guest is here and I don't see the sign up, I would have Byron. I would message him, "Hey, put the sign up." But I also believe that I said he was here, so I didn't even tell him that. And I thought that a few times throughout the show today.
Pee in his face, Adam. It's the only way he'll learn.
It's
All right, don't do that. Just put the sign up because you didn't say he's here already because I would have went, that's really early, wasn't it? Anyway, I saw him wandering around. All right, Shek, you didn't hear here already.
I didn't hear it, but you know what?
All right, then.
What else is new with Donovan?
I could have been clearer and or more accurate.
Or you could have said what you said. That's what you didn't say. All right. So he is here, and that's why we got that. All right. So I was filibustering, but my point is this. In the name of safety, and this is global, these experiences have all been taken away. And what we've saved is, first off, I don't know anyone who was killed on a victory lap with their dad at Road Atlanta, but I'm sure to say a couple of pit guys may have had too many beers celebrating. Someone may have fallen out and skinned their knee at some point somewhere. I'm saying it's worth it. It's worth it for the picture. It's worth it to have the experience. I'm just saying globally, everything is in the name of safety, and no one argues with it. Everyone's like, well, it's too dangerous to do. Well, it's too dangerous. All right, but we're also robbing people of tons of experiences. California just tried to shut down Pee Wee football for people under 12 because it's too dangerous. Yes, but you're also robbing people of important experiences. That's why I need to vote.
I happen to agree with you, and your thing about the plastic beer bottles at stadiums is the point that always that I repeat all the time to people is we've overcorrected for all of society because there was one incident somewhere along the way. Completely. That's my complaint about outdoor stadiums. It's like, well, it's cold. It's not safe. It's not safe. What evidence is there of players getting hurt because it's colder outside? There isn't any. And then it's become, well, it's bad for the fans. You see a lot of people went to the hospital at Arrowhead because it was minus 15 out. Yeah, because they were taking their shirt off and drinking Fireball the whole game. That's not safe. There's personal responsibility.
Did they blame Mahomes' helmet breaking on the cold?
I think they did. I've never seen anything like that.
That is on the cold.
But I completely agree. You have ruined the experience of school marms who aren't going to the game anyway. It's too cold to go sit out at the game. It's like, I have gone to the game. I delude myself that these strangers down on the field care about my city as much as I do because they're wearing the proper colors that I'd like them to wear. And it's a shared experience. It's minus 1 degree out and it's snowy and everything. I will never forget that. And when my team won and I survived that bitter cold right there alongside Troy Polamalu. Okay, I didn't have to run into 300-pound men, but nevertheless, I completely agree with what you're saying in spirit.
Okay, next time be more concise.
Oh, and
Dave Dameshek.
Impossible.
Yeah,
Adam.
and I should say that Gavin Newsom has publicly promised he will not sign legislation that bans
and everyone mark the calendar. I agree with Gavin Newsom. There, I said it. You're not going to hear it very often out of me, but I do agree with Newsom. All right, is Shek heading out? Ed coming in?
Correct.
All right, we'll give a plug. I'll give you plugs at the end of the segment, Shek. Ed Weinberger, who's an amazing screenwriter, producer, Taxi, The Cosby Show, Mary Tyler Moore, so many legendary shows. We'll bring him in late than never, right after this. O'Reilly. Don't miss Do-It-Right deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts. How long has it been since you've changed your spark plugs? Yeah, that's a good question. Replacing your spark plug can restore efficiency and performance to your vehicle. Get better gas mileage as well. And right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get a $12 O'Reilly gift card after rebate when you purchase 4 or more select AC Delco Iridium spark plugs. Maintain your performance and fuel mileage with new spark plugs from O'Reilly Auto Parts. You can also improve visibility with their new wiper blades. Right now, save $12 on a pair of Rain-X Rugged XL wiper blades. Plus, get 2 times O Rewards points. An extra large profile and premium features make Rugged XL blades the right choice for extreme weather and driving durability. The professional parts people will even install your new pair of wiper blades for free From spark plugs to wiper blades and more. Save now with do-it-right deals in-store at O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
In honor of Jim Carolla's 92nd birthday, here's a list of all the things Adam Carolla will do before he dies. Snap Larry King's suspenders and turn him into a pile of ashes. Just one of the things Adam will do before he dies. Let's get back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Ed Weinberger's in studio. He's got a play out. We'll get into that. Ed's a legendary writer, co-creator of Taxi. Everyone loves that show universally. The Bill Cosby Show, I should say the Cosby Show. Bill Cosby Show was earlier when he was a coach, right?
I did that show.
You did that show.
I did that show. I grew up with Bill in high school. We went to Central High together.
So you did the Cosby Show and the Bill Cosby Show?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And he could. That was the opening.
I forgot that.
Oh, yeah? I could probably do the whole thing.
Yes, you probably could. No, he was a junior high school coach.
Yeah.
And
Kincaid, I think his name was.
Yes. Well, he always picked the names. So it was.
He did.
He picked the names, and I always said, "That's a cowboy's name, Bill." And he said, "I don't care." The same way he picked the Huxtables.
Oh, he picked the Huxtables.
Picked the Huxtables, which is another name I didn't like. And that show was, the first one was #1 as well for 2 years. Then he went on the Tonight Show and announced that he was quitting. First I heard of it.
The show, the #1 Bill Cosby Show.
The original, the first one. And he was leaving L.A. and moving to New York. It was the time of I hate to bring it up, the Manson murders. And his wife freaked out, and he left L.A., quit the show.
71, maybe?
Yeah.
You found out by just tuning in?
I was watching him on the, I guess, and Carson is somebody else I worked for when he's way back.
How was Carson's temperament?
Well, all right, he's dead. I guess I can talk a little bit about him. He was cold, is one way of saying it. But he was fair with the writers. He was straight with the writers. I have no complaints about that. But his brother, I'll tell you a little story. His brother came in, who was the director of the Tonight Show, and his brother came into his office one night and said, "Johnny, I'd like to quit, and I'd like to do Merv Griffin. I've been offered Merv Griffin show."
What position, sir?
A director.
Director.
And Johnny said, "Do you think we can get Tommy McGraw?" That was about his only reaction. So he was distant, kept to himself, not very funny off camera, and but I got along with him very well.
Yeah, I have a fair amount of those people where I go, well, you may not like him, but he treated me fine.
Yeah, I had the same thing. Now, I worked for Bob Hope. Okay. And Bob Hope, politics of mind, never synced. And there was a lot of, but I went to Vietnam with Bob Hope, and he would go into Army hospitals and shake hands with guys. I went in once with him, and I got ill. I couldn't take the sight of these young boys in their beds.
So would Bob Hope be more conservative, let's say, and you were more liberal-minded?
I'm more than liberal.
All right. So you're communist.
I may be your first Marxist, as a matter of fact. Okay.
But you put that aside.
Well, he did something that you had to admire. It didn't matter his politics. He did something that other people weren't doing at that time. He performed something, a service, whatever you want to call it, that was special. And he was able to look at those kids and say, "Where are you from?" And he would do a joke. "Oh, you're from St. Louis." He'd do a St. Louis joke. He he went around, and I was, dry heaving on the outside because it was too painful.
It's so funny. I never just thought about this, but we just had the Emmys, and we just had Anthony Anderson do a whole sort of send up on iconic, TV shows, and of course he was doing black. Many of them were like, black TV shows. And of course, the Cosby Show can't be on there. The biggest of them all.
Yes, right.
Can't be represented anymore. And then that sort of. It's an interesting question. Like, well, should Pete Rose be in the Baseball Hall of Fame? You know what I mean? Should this guy? Should we listen to Wagner music because he was or drive a Ford or whatever? You can break it up. I generally like the separation. I'm just like, somebody could be a great composer and a horrible person, and we don't have to call them a good person, but we can still appreciate whatever their art was or whatever they created. But I don't know. What about Cosby? Do you have thoughts about Cosby?
Okay.
Because you've known him your whole life?
Off and on.
Off and on.
But we were sophomores together, or freshmen together, I should say, and sophomores.
In Philadelphia.
Central High School in Philadelphia. And then he transferred to Germantown. And then he would work stand-up in the Village. I was in New York. I would go down, and we would go into clubs together, and I would be pitching jokes. We went into folk rooms because there were no comedy clubs.
Mm-hmm.
So he and I... So when Bob Dylan came on, we'd walk out.
Right.
Because we both hated folk music.
Smart.
And would, schmooze on the sidewalk. Getting back to your point about Bill Cosby and how we deal with it now, Seinfeld said that Cosby stopped being funny to him.
Mm-hmm. After he heard about this.
Yes, in retrospect.
I see.
So he couldn't separate the man from the humor and the show.
Right.
He saw and he was a big Cosby fan early on, and claimed and believed, as I did, that Cosby's stand-up was up there with the great ones.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have an opinion about that. I really don't. In terms of separating the two, I was friends with Bill, and we still talk. We talked and met at the Dick Gregory funeral. Was another writer.
How long ago was that?
That was a couple of years ago, and that was before. That was the beginning of the trial, before he went to jail, and
he's out now, right?
He's out.
So for you, was there any? Obviously, you had no thoughts about this. I heard that Bill could be a little bit prickly, though, beyond any of these allegations.
Yes, which is why I didn't stay with the second show too long, because I think of myself as the boss, and he thinks of himself as the boss, and you can't have two bosses doing a half-hour situation comedy. And but my background with him and going so far back, I was not intimidated by him. And one of the few people that wasn't. And not because I was smarter or anything like that. It was only because of my relationship with him and because I thought I knew him well enough to tell him the truth, or at least express my own opinions. So I don't know how to, divide the comedy from the man himself. But prickly, yes, and be very hard to work with. And the more important he became, the greater the ego is the course of as we all know, what happens in show business.
Yeah, I mean, people become more sort of who they were. I do have a little game I play, which is I do know a lot of people who are working in show business, but not going to be stars, but they work. And there's a few of them where I go, Jesus Christ, this guy ever became a star, he'd be the biggest prick in the world. Even though he's fine at his level because the life sort of keeps him grounded a little bit. But we can all play that game. By the way, you don't have to work in show business. Just
No.
Anybody you know, just picture the person that would be horrible if they ever became super popular and rich. and that's the math. But how about Dean Martin?
Well, I worked for Dean, but I never interacted with him. Because I worked for a head writer called Harry Crane, who was probably your audience is not familiar with, but notorious he was the guy who would say, "Put me in a room with Shakespeare and I'll break his legs."
Really? I mean, he thought he was better than...
He thought he was the best comic. And he did everything. He did the Honeymooners. He did whatever show he worked on, and he wrote. And if there's a great joke, he wrote it. There's a famous story of Harry Crane with Dean Martin, if I'll tell it, if I may. So Greg Garrison, as a producer, is telling Harry Crane that they booked Zero Mostel.
Wait...
You know who
the
that
actor?
Is? The actor, Broadway actor, large guy.
Fiddler on the Roof?
Fiddler on the Roof, exactly.
Isn't his last name Meistel?
Zero Mostel.
Mostel. Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear the M.
Okay, sorry. So Harry says, that's crazy. Dean and Zero Mostel is a Broadway actor. There's no way, that's not going to work. And he goes on and on and on, and Greg says, Dean loves Zero Mostel, and Harry says, wait, you didn't let me finish. And that's
how he was.
That's how he was.
Right.
So I never bet. I never spent a moment with Dean Martin. I did run into him at a bar in Lake Tahoe with Frank Sinatra when I was with Dick Gregory.
So if we were to give a batting average, a order, you go Bob Hope was nicer off stage.
Well, Bob Hope and I were not alone in a room too often. And the one time we were, he was saying to me, did you read Forbes magazine? Of course I didn't. I was pretty young. And he said, those sons of bitches, look at this. I don't have $400 million. How dare they? How dare they claim I have $400 million? I don't have anywhere near that real estate. And he's going on. And it's very hard to jump in on the side.
Yeah.
How do I take, and I'm saying, yeah, that's really,
slap
maybe
in
you
the
should call
face.
you should call your lawyer. I'm trying to say things that I'm in an argument that makes no sense to me. He's been upbraided by $200 million and he's pissed. So that's my Bob Hope moment. But I've never done that before, what you're asking, so I could ad-lib it, I suppose, but I don't.
Well, it was what you think, who was a little more prickly? Was it Johnny Carson or was it Cosby?
Boy, they're in a league of their own.
Really? Wow.
Johnny was off camera, he was pretty cold. He was tough. As I said, he and I got along fine. And I respected the way he treated me. He never denigrated, as some comedians have. Not me personally, but I've seen it. But he was cold off stage, and he was tough. And he fired people, or he on a dime. I mean, you said the wrong thing or did the wrong thing. Well, this famous story with Ed McMahon, do you know that?
No, tell us.
Okay, all right. I have more show business stories
I
than
know.
I should have.
I know.
Okay, so it was a joke I wrote, and it was something, he was sitting at the desk, and it was a news item that said, not a great joke, mosquitoes are attracted to sexually interesting people, or sexually attracted to sexual people with sex appeal. Mm-hmm. That's a study that they had made with. And the joke was that after he read it, Johnny would scratch his
mosquito bite.
Right. Ed McMahon did it first.
Oh, he jumped it.
And Johnny walked off that night.
Now, was this sort of in the middle of the run, toward the beginning of the
Early,
Tonight
because
Show?
I was in the first years of the show.
And Ed knew it because of the rehearsal?
No, there was no rehearsal.
Oh, there's no rehearsal, no run through.
No, not for
So
those
he just
jokes.
instinctively.
He instinctively jumped the joke.
Yeah.
Got the laugh. Johnny put the card down, the blue card as we called him. Walked, and at the end of the show, was about to fire him and was talked out of it.
Really?
And I think it's in Ed McMahon's book. I don't know. And he came this close to being, and he really called NBC, and he was calling the producers, get him off. I never want to see him again.
Wow.
And it took a while for him to recover and cool down.
In today's world of social media, would Johnny Carson even last? Or he would get Ellen or James Corden, like his scared staff tweeting crazy stories about him. Would he even survive?
Well, in those days, and I have no idea what's going on with staffs today, except there were 4 writers on The Tonight Show when I was there. Now, there are 127 on every.
My God! When you watch the Emmys and you see it takes 20 minutes just to get them all onto the stage.
We had 4 on Carson.
Yeah.
Sometimes 3. And I did the monologue with David Lloyd for 3-4 years, and it was just the 2 of us. And so it was totally different. There was no talk about Johnny Carson's personal life in the papers or among the staff, and nobody dealt with harassment or how you were treated. You just thought you were lucky to be doing that job.
Here's the whole deal, everybody. Work was work. You went into work to work. You didn't need a positive environment. That was the weekends. That's your living room. This is work, you know? And to just not be going into a salt mine or lumberjack camp, your work involved air conditioning and a roof and a place you could go get some snacks, and that was about it. In terms of the environment, not neither here nor there, because it was called work.
Nobody, your process didn't include those issues or problems. Now, on The Tonight Show, we had a guest producer come in, who I knew, who was a talent coordinator, who spunked the producer because the producer at that time was sick or something like that. And at a production meeting, I forget the incident, but I raised my hand. I said, that's not great. Okay, something like that. Afterwards, he called me back, and he pulled a knife on me.
A knife?
He showed me a knife. Wow. And he said, if you ever contradict me at a production. Okay. Now, I went back to I didn't call. There was no
HR.
There was no HR. I didn't call my agent. I didn't.
Right.
I come from South Philly. You pull a knife. Okay, I get it. I'm moving on.
Yeah. So, I think my take on all this stuff is, people go like, you want to go back to a day where a producer can pull a knife on a writer? I go, not quite that far back, but back far enough so that we don't have a bunch of whiny pussies talking about being out of trail mix and how they don't like the environment that Ellen has created for them. It's just a job. You show up. Listen, I used to work construction. I had horrible foremen all the time. You learn to navigate. Like, you learn to work around these people who you don't really want to deal with, which is an important skill in life.
But the word environment never crossed your mind.
No, if you said environment, people go mess with the thermostat.
Yes,
they think you were talking about it was too hot in here.
No. That was you took the office they gave you, you did the work you did, and you lived by somebody else's rules, and that was it.
And by the way, if you didn't like the pay or your boss or the environment or whatever it is you didn't like, you were always free to quit. Like, you could just leave. Like, you could go, well, I think my boss is such a huge dick. I mean, when I used to when I did earthquake rehab, I was making like $19 an hour, which was twice of what I was making. Mm-hmm. But after about 6 months of it, I went to another earthquake job, and they said, your buddy Jan, who turned into a douche, is going to be your foreman now. And I was like, I don't fucking deal with that guy. I don't like him. And he's like, well, he's your new foreman. And I was like, you know what? I'm out.
Yeah,
and I went from $19 back to $11 an hour just because I didn't want Jan breaking my balls
must
all
have
day.
sucked. Yeah.
Went to his fucking funeral. No, sorry, his wedding. I think he's still alive. But it was like you were always just free to leave. Like if you didn't like the environment, you don't like Ellen, and you don't like working for Ellen, then quit, pussy. Let's not. I don't know what Ellen is like. I'm sure she's a bitch, but she's gonna be a bitch. That's her job. You leave if you don't want to work for her.
Well, the pressure of doing that show, you just accepted it, and you understood temperament and lived with it, and nobody. I mean, I didn't think twice that Dean Martin ever talked to me. I didn't think twice that Carson was sort of cold off camera or reclusive. These things were never relevant to my job. I would write my jokes. I would put them in a basket. They would get to, somebody would take them into his office. On the Dean Martin show, however, we'd put our jokes in the basket and worry that Harry Crane didn't take them and put his name on it. So there was a little of that. But if he did, that was what you lived with.
Would you guys didn't rehearse on the Tonight Show, so would you just go home that night and watch it and see which jokes of yours made the monologue?
Yes. Or I would stay. We finished at, like 5. I could get home at 5:30, then I would turn on. And sometimes I would not know until the next day. When I got more confident in my job, then I would not know until maybe the next day what jokes he did. But in the beginning, I would make sure, or I would stay for the monologue. Same thing with Bob Hope. But I usually didn't watch the whole show or stay for the whole show or was asked to stay for the whole show. In fact, they liked that. I think the producers liked to keep the writers away from the star. So I was not on set as they are now. I wasn't around for the show. And after the monologue, I didn't hang around.
It's weird because Johnny was replaced by Jay, and Jay's staff truly loved him in that position. I would go there all the time, and everyone was in a great mood, and they just loved him.
That's when the environment was created.
That's when the environment was created.
Well, we were afraid of Johnny. I mean, we were
healthy. A little healthy respect.
Yes, and nobody said, "Oh my God, we're afraid." We just knew our roles. Right. And lived it.
Was monologue? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, was he a drinker? I mean, I know he was a drinker, but was he? Oh, he's doing the booger sugar.
Put his nose there.
Oh, wow! But that didn't start till later, right?
I'm not sure.
Because I heard he liked a cocktail or two after the.
He was
after the show.
Right. I have never talked about Johnny before.
Well, let's do it.
Okay. He was a terrible drinker. In the sense that a teaspoon of alcohol would get him, he couldn't handle alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I will tell you another anecdote, if I may. I now left the Tonight Show. I came out to L.A. to do television sitcoms. And he was out visiting L.A. as they did from New York. They would.
Yeah, because it started in New York.
Yeah, but they would do a week. They would do a week in L.A. Even when I was on the show, we would go out for Hollywood, Burbank for 2 weeks or whatever that was. So I ran into him at Stinky Pete's bar, which is on Sunset. I don't think it's there anymore. I'm sure it's not there anymore. And he had been drinking, and he walked up to me, and he said, "Oh, Weinberger, let's see how you could take a punch since you've been in L.A."
Wow.
And he was ready to take a swing. And Bobby Quinn, who was the director, got there first, thank God, and because I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. And that was it. But that was like half a shot. That was not like all night drinking. He had a low some people do, as you may well be aware of being his body could not go. It's not like he drank all night and then got drunk. It was that he was drunk after the first sip.
Wow.
So
and then the 80s came around, and
then
sugar
and then yeah.
Wow.
And remember, he smoked on set when I was there.
Listen,
this is about the 60s.
Listen, I wrote this down, and I can't even remember where. And I'm going to have to think about it. Oh, I was. I'll see if I wrote it in this notebook here where I wrote it. Anyway, just to let you know how things have changed. I was watching a documentary on Yogi Berra, famous Yankee catcher and manager and everything else. 10 World Series, by the way, championship, 10 All-Star, much better player than people remember. People remember.
I say greatest catcher
of all time. Some remember it ain't over till it's over and all that kind of stuff, but it's really that overshadows his playing and his ability. At the beginning of the show, before it came on Netflix, it had the warning, depictions of smoking, you know what I mean? Because it's archival shit from the 40s, right? And it also had, on the warning was depictions or pictures of war. Because at some point he enlists, during World War II. He enlists during World War II, and he's on a rocket barge, and they're there for the Normandy landing. They had to warn viewers that you may see some stock footage of World War II in black and white. What the fuck have we come? What have we come to? Where are we at? Who's decided this? Who's offended by depictions of war? These weren't gory, gruesome pictures what you and Bob Hope saw in Vietnam and the military hospital. This is black and white, archival World War II footage. But I needed a heads up to do what? Tell my son war never happened? Like what's my move as a dad? See if this kid can make it through his entire life without discovering that there was something called World War II?
Yeah.
Thanks to Netflix?
You failed.
Or that people smoked in the 40s? I mean, Jesus, goddamn Christ.
Well, Johnny smoked on stage. I mean,
I know.
Set, if you remember.
Talked about World War... Ed McMahon talked about World War II.
Yeah.
Well, it was a different and simpler time.
Yeah.
By the way, the play we never even got into. The Journal of Adam and Eve, and it plays at the Gary Marshall Theater, which is right there. That's in Toluca Lake, there, right?
Riverside, right across from Bob's Big Boy.
Oh, and speaking of Bob Hope owned half the acreage.
And you know how he got it.
All of Toluca Lake, which is some of the most expensive real estate. People hear about Bel Air and Malibu and Beverly Hills. Don't sleep on Toluca Lake in terms of how expensive the land is there.
When Hope did, and every time he signed up or got a contract with NBC, they paid him in real estate. And that was what he first, because NBC was out at Burbank early on, even in radio. And they were sort of like giving him lots as part of his. So by the time he was, who he was, he owned all or almost all of Toluca Lake.
He owned millions and millions of dollars worth of real estate.
Yes.
Well, somewhere in that little place called Toluca Lake, this theater exists across from Bob's Big Boy.
Yes, Gary Marshall Theater. You know the name Gary Marshall, I'm
sure. Happy Days and all the other shows as well. Hal Linden stars in this, Sally Struthers as well, and you can get tickets now at GaryMarshallTheater.org.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And it'll run through, January 18th.
Not too long.
Yeah, not too long. January 18th through the 21st. Ed, you should come back. Sorry, I didn't see you out in the hall till a little bit later. But we'll definitely tell some more of these war stories, but we'll put a warning up first.
Sorry what we said about Eagles fans.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No. Well, it's been a very depressing period, but we'll move on.
Hey, listen, I'm a Rams fan. Whether you lose by one goddamn point or you lose by 26 points, you're still not coming back next week.
Yeah, still hurts.
All right, Ed Weinberger and DFG and Dave Dameshek, the podcast. You got -3 and you got extra points with the Sheck as well. Las Vegas, Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Theater doing 2 shows there this Thursday. And then Grand Junction, Colorado at the Mesa Theater, a couple of shows there. And then off to Estes Park, Colorado at the Stanley Hotel. Until next time, this is Adam for Ed and Dave and Def and Chris saying mahalo.